I had an injury just before the qualifications for the Olympics. That was a moment where I feel it was a really low phase for me.
The top Asian countries, whether it be China, Japan, Hong Kong, Korea, how do they have an upper hand in table tennis?
They start really very early, like they start when they're around 3 years old, and compared to the other countries, like maybe in India, we start when you're 7, 8. So their basic foundation, I feel, is very strong.
Do you feel an extra pressure when you get tags like this, the most expensive player?
I mean, definitely there is this kind of pressure, that I'm the most expensive player. I have to live up to that. Being the most expensive Indian player, I think that was really a huge boost of confidence for me. We have so many players in the top 100 now and many players also in the top 50. It's a great achievement for India. We have the 2026 Asian Games coming up, and also before that we have the World Championships next year. I think the ultimate goal is definitely to win a medal for India at the Olympic Games.
So, Dia, let's just get onto the court. On 2nd November 2025, Indian women cricket team etched history by becoming the first time winners of the World Cup. जैसे कि भारत की बेटियां हमेशा से हमारे भारत का नाम रोशन करते आ रही है, सिर्फ क्रिकेट में नहीं, हर खेल में। टेबल टेनिस एक ऐसा खेल जहां पर हर दफ़ा से चाइना और अन्य एशियन कंट्रीज़ का राज रहा है, लेकिन अब धीरे धीरे तेज़ी से इंडिया का नाम बढ़ता हुआ। और ऐसी एक भारत की बेटी जिन्होंने आन बान शान के साथ इस तिरंगा को लहराया है, वो आज हमारे साथ इस इंटरव्यू में जुड़ रही है। एक ऐसी खिलाड़ी जो कि अब नेशनल चैम्पियन है, नंबर 1। शी इज़ द प्लेयर राइट नाउ इन इंडिया और मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव प्लेयर इन द UTT सीजन 6। और उसी के साथ एक ऐसा इतिहास उन्होंने रच दिया है विश्व पटल पर। शी इज़ द फर्स्ट वुमेन टू क्वालिफाई फॉर WTT फाइनल्स। सो दिया, वेलकम टू स्पोर्ट्स टुनाइट।
Thank you.
So, do you want to go back in your childhood and want to know how did this journey begin?
So honestly, it just started as a hobby for me. Like, I think as a child, I was a very active child, and initially I did skating for some time, but it was not something that I thought it would go on for a long time. But when I was younger, we used to go on many vacations, and there was always a table tennis table. So everyone in my family, like, they would play just for fun, and I was not really so tall, so I would never reach the table. But I was really interested in it, and I started here in Khajam Khana. Like, they had a TT hall, so it just started as a hobby for me. But I think in my first tournament that I played at the district level, I won a bronze medal. So I started training more after that, and I think it just went on and on from there. But I think the real turning point for me was in 2014, when in the national championships in the under 12 category, I won a silver medal in the individual event. So I think that is where the hobby turned into my passion, and after that I think there was no looking back. I started going abroad for training, playing international tournaments. So yeah.
How were the emotions going on in your mind when you got the chance of wearing the Indian jersey for the first time, your first international experience?
Yeah. Definitely, representing the country and wearing the India t-shirt and the world stage is a very, very big moment. So my first international tournament was in Bahrain, and it was really a great experience for me. I think my journey started from there, and every time when I go out to represent my country, it's a sense of pride, and I know that the entire nation is behind me. So it's an amazing feeling being there.
Absolutely. And what are the challenges you think came in your journey till now?
Yeah. So in every sports person's journey, I think there are some of the other challenges. There will be some phases where, it's a low phase, and I think you're putting in the work and doing everything, but the results are not coming. So, of course, there is this moment of self-doubt that comes, but I think it's how you still back yourself, believe in yourself. And I think my family and my entire team, to be honest, played a very, very important role. Whenever I had such a low phase, they were always there for me, supporting me, and pushing me to come out of that phase. So I think having this good team and this support system was very, very important for me. Also, I had an injury just before like the qualifications for the Olympics. So I had an injury and I was not able to play a few national tournaments, and because of that I did not qualify for the Paris Olympics. So that was a moment where I feel it was a really low phase for me, and I really started doubting that I was putting in all the efforts, and that was one of the targets that I'd set for myself. But when that did not happen, I think like I said, my entire team was really there for me, and together I feel we were able to get through this phase and come back stronger.
Absolutely, you're a bright champion. And I wanted to know about your coaching and training.
Yeah.
Like, how does your daily routine look like?
Yeah. So I have 2 table tennis sessions in the day, which are around 2.5 hours each, in the morning and in the evening. And along with that, I also work on the physical aspect, like in gym sessions or agility sessions, which also go around for 1.5 hour. So I think apart from this, also it's like time for some mental training and rest and recovery.
So I wanted to ask you about Ultimate Table Tennis. In 2023, the season was not up to your expectations, but fast forward to 2025, becoming the most expensive player,
Yeah.
the Indian player.
So I think Ultimate Table Tennis, the league, is a great initiative for for all the Indian players, and even before I got a chance to play in it, I was like always following the action very keenly. I was sometimes there in the stadium watching the matches, so I was very excited to be a part of it in 2023. But yeah, it was the first time I was playing. It's a completely different kind of pressure when you're out there. It's just 3 games and it's such a quick format. So it did not really go as I expected it. But I think the next year I was much more prepared, and I just tried to play each point. And I really like the atmosphere, like with just one table, so much crowd, everyone cheering, and the entire team backing me. I think that really pumped me up and helped me play my best game. And definitely in 2025, being the most expensive Indian player, I think that was really a huge boost of confidence for me that, I'm doing the right things, I'm on the right path. So yeah, it was great to be the most expensive player among such top athletes. So yeah, but I think this is just the start, and of course there's a long way to go. So
Do you feel an extra pressure when you get tags like this, the most expensive player, one play while playing such tournaments?
I mean, definitely there is this kind of pressure, that I'm the most expensive player. I have to live up to that. But I think what's important when I'm out there is not really to focus on that and just to try to enjoy. I think the most important thing I believe is when I enjoy, I'm able to play my game and have fun out there. So I think to enjoy and try to give my best. At the end, one person will win, one will lose. So.
And this year, 2025, it has absolutely been an amazing year for you. WTT Tunisia, the title, I want to know about it. The finals against Miwa Harimoto, the Japan pair. So, how was the finals and the feeling after winning the title?
Yeah. I think Tunisia was a great tournament for me and Manush. It was the first title at the WTT event that we won. We had played a lot of quarterfinals and semifinals before, but never really gone all the way through. So I think in that tournament, we could really play our best, and especially, in the finals, winning against Miwa and Sora. I think they are a very strong pair, and we had actually lost to them earlier in the year. But going into the finals, I think we were much better prepared this time, and we were really backing each other throughout the match. Even when things were not working in our favor, I think we were really supporting each other, and we were able to fight until the end, and we were really glad that we could win that title.
And now, as you have raised the expectations of everyone, now you're qualified for the WTT finals, which is in the December in Hong Kong. We wish you all the best for that. So, what's the training right now for that, and what do you feel makes a strong pair with Manush?
So honestly, we have a lot of back-to-back tournaments coming up, but it was great. Like a few days back, we had the chance to train together in Chennai, and I think it really helped us understand our games better and to prepare strategically better, leading towards Oman, which we are going for next week, and leading towards the WTT finals. So I think it was great that we could find some time to practice together, and yeah, I think we both complement each other really well. I mean, we are able to understand each other's strengths and weaknesses and try to play according to that. So I think we both are also very aggressive players, so that really helps us when we are out there on court.
And for our non-table tennis fans who are watching this video, how we will differentiate the difference of training while training for singles and training for doubles? How difficult it is to manage both?
Yeah. So like in table tennis, I feel it's not that, how it's in badminton, that a player who plays doubles just plays doubles and one who plays singles. It's like everybody really plays everything. So I think many aspects in the singles also you can use in the doubles, and also the other way around, you know, like the receiving, or maybe the positioning is a bit different, but the receiving or the placement of the ball, I think it's very similar. But of course, you know, to have this bonding with your partner, and because in singles when you play, you're playing just for yourself, like what you play you get back, but in doubles you have to play according to what my partner wants or what he prepares. So I think it's really important to train together for that, and to understand what are the strengths and weaknesses of my partner, and to be able to play according to that.
And they are the top Asian countries, whether it be China, Japan, Hong Kong, Korea. What do you feel personally these countries have? How do they have an upper hand in table tennis while you face them? What do you feel?
So I think the top countries, one of the things I feel is that they start really very early, you know, like they start when they're around 3 years old, and compared to the other countries, like maybe in India, we start when you're 7, 8. So I think they already have that time, like, you know, already they have advantage of 5 years where they have been playing so much more. And I think the basic technique that they have is very, very strong. Like from a young age, their basic technique, their basic strokes, the technical aspect is very, very strong from the start, and it is the same throughout. Like, and I think everyone is very, very similar in that. So their basic foundation, I feel, is very strong, and that I think when they keep playing the same thing for so many years, when they come to the senior category, I think they already have played it for so long. And also, I feel they get the exposure of playing at top events from a very young age. So I think when they are in the juniors, they already get a chance to play in the senior events and in big tournaments. So the experience and the exposure that they get really helps them when they finally come into the seniors.
So how do you mentally prepare for big tournaments?
Yeah. So definitely, mentally, it's very, very important to stay strong. And I think it's not just for the big events. I think it's like an ongoing process. Like it's something that you do on an everyday basis. So I am working with a mental training coach, Mugdha Bavre, and yeah, it has really helped me a lot. You know, we work on different techniques of how to be able to stay in the present and how to play just one point after the other. And I mean, of course, it's not going to be perfect when you're out there on court. There is going to be pressure and there is going to be some expectation, but it's how you handle it at that moment and how you're able to believe in your game and just try to give your best every time you're out there.
Who has been your biggest role model till now?
So I don't really follow any single player, but I think my parents, you know, they have always pushed me from the start, and they have always been there for me throughout everything. My mom and dad, like the support that I have received from them, I don't think without them I would have been where I am today. So really, like they have always been through me, like with me through the highs and the lows, and they really understand what I'm going through, and yeah, they're always really there for me. So.
Absolutely. And where do you see India in the next 5 years? And what should India do in the next 5 years in table tennis?
So I feel it's really been a lot of growth for India in table tennis. You know, after the 2018 Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, we have really been improving, I would say. We have so many players in the top 100 now, and many players also in the top 50. So it's a great achievement for India. So I think we are on the right path and we are doing the right things. So yeah, I think we just try to give our best every time we are out there.
What's the one match that you won't forget and why?
So recently, I would say the national championships, which happened in January this year. It was the first time that I became the national champion, but I think the final match was a very, very good match. I played against Srija Akula, who's a very, very experienced player, and she's an amazing player. And I was 0-2 down in the finals. But after that, the way I was able to fight back and come back, I think that was one of the matches where I really felt that I was able to be mentally very strong and play my game. Even in the decider, it was 9-9. So I was really happy that I was able to convert that match and become the national champion.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you. And any personal favorite memory on the court or off the court? Any?
You know, I mean, representing India at the Commonwealth Games and the Asian Games, I think that was a great experience and exposure for me. I feel like, you know, games is a completely different setup, and like being in the village, being among such top athletes from other sports, and being able to see how they prepare and everything. So it was a really great experience for me.
And how these government schemes, whether it be Khelo India, whether it be any national games, whether it be SAI, so how much this has helped in table tennis?
Yeah. So yeah, I think the government has been doing a great job, in supporting all sports, sports other than cricket as well. Like we have been getting a lot of support from the entire government. Like the top schemes, I think it is great. Like we are getting a lot of support, and we are able to train much more internationally. Also go for many tournaments, and they have really helped us a lot. Also, the Khelo India scheme, it's a great initiative for the younger athletes to help them to build and to become better from a young age. So also I feel, when we went for the Commonwealth Games, uh, the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, he also spoke to us before going for the games and also after. Even though we could not win a medal, he was he took the chance to speak to us and motivate us. So such kind of encouragement is really great for us when we know that we have the entire nation and the government backing us. I think it really helps us to go out there and fight much more.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dia, what are the other games that you like to follow, maybe watch in your free time?
So I think a little bit of everything. Of course, cricket, but yeah, badminton, tennis a little bit. So everything that's it.
And who's your favorite cricketer?
Virat Kohli.
So they wanted to know what's the one technical aspect that you have been training and focusing right now, whether it be your attacking or defending. What's the one thing that you are right now focused on to?
So I think more about the finer aspects of the game, like the receiving, to be more precise and to be better in the placement of that. So that is something that I've been working on.
And do you get a chance to interact with the international players? And are there things that you gain something from them?
Yeah, like when we go for tournaments, there are always other international players. So we talk a little bit, maybe not too much, but yeah, we talk a little bit. But I think during UTT, I think this is much more, because we have international players, top international players in our team as well. So I think that is the time where we get a chance to also talk a lot to them and interact with them and also learn from them. So I think that is the time that we have.
And they are being a top athlete. How do you overcome when you have faced a failure, whether it be in a match, in a game, anything? So definitely there might be stress. You will think about it. So as a top player, how do you think? How do you overcome that from that situation?
Yeah. Also, like I said, earlier, it's very, very important to have the right people around you. And of course, like you're going to feel really bad after losing or after you don't play so well. But it's how you really come out of that and prepare for the next match, there are going to be setbacks, there are going to be failures, but it's how you learn from them and then come back the next day and try to prepare for the next one.
What are your short-term plans right now and the long-term plans that you are looking into right now?
Yeah. We have the 2026 Asian Games coming up, and also before that we have the World Championships next year. So for sure that is one of the upcoming plans, and of course the WTT finals where we have qualified. These are the three major events coming up, but I think the ultimate goal is definitely to win a medal for India at the Olympic Games. So that is always going to be the ultimate goal. So, yeah.
And Dia, if we have to increase the quality of table tennis in India, how we will do it from the grassroots level? What do you think?
So I think having a very strong basic technique from a young age is very, very important. Like I said, in China when they start, they have more or less the similar technique when they start towards when they are at a higher level. So I think having that basics from a very young age and getting much more exposure and experience to play at top events and also international events from a young age is very, very important.
And there are one special message to the two special message. One for the fans who root for you, who support you, and another for all the aspiring girls who are trying to follow their dreams and become like you and as the name ministry.
To the fans, I would really like to say thank you so much for always supporting me and being there. And I will try to do my best for the country and try to make you all proud. And for all the young girls, I would like to say, do what you love and believe in yourself even when things don't go your way. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, and you will definitely come out of that. So just enjoy in everything that you do.
Thank you so much, Dia, for this interview. And before ending this interview, what I would like to do is having an experience of playing a minute table tennis with you. It will be a special feeling for me because I know you are going to write all the history. So before ending this interview, we will just have a minute with Dia Chitle on court. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very special moment for me. As a young athlete, earlier I used to play table tennis and I thought of playing for India, but not the same. But now, following the passion with sports tonight, covering the journeys, and now I've got a very special moment for myself that I won't forget. Playing a minute with Dia Chitle, the national champion and the bright future of India. So, Dia, let's just get onto the court. So, Dia, I wanted to ask you, I always see these rackets, the pimple rackets.
Yeah.
How difficult this is when your opponent is playing with pimple racket, then how difficult is the process?
Yeah, so it's a very different style of playing, you know, like you really have to know how to play against them because now table tennis has become a very, very fast game. And the pimple rackets, they make the game slower, so you really have to adapt to the speed and be able to counter attack that.
That's great. So, do you feel like a kind of irritation when you see a pimple racket against your opponent, or are you used to it?
In India, actually, many people play with the pimple racket, so I practice a lot also against it. So I think now I'm very used to it.
What is the one advantage you feel with the pimple rackets, maybe?
Like I said, you know, many of the international players, they don't play against this kind of style very regularly. So the pimple rackets, they reduce the speed, and then the opponents, they have to they get a little bit disturbed with the rhythm. So you have to like generate your own speed, and it's always a different timing that you have to play. So I think many people face that difficulty when playing against pimple rubbers.
And even I have seen the Chinese, the kind of serves that they keep on innovating. Sometimes do they come as a surprise for you?
I think services are very, very unique. You know, each player has a different kind of serve, so it's very, very unique to each player.
Who are you fan of in table tennis? Whether it be any Chinese athlete, whether it be an Indian athlete?
So I think Ding Ning was someone that I really liked the way she played because it was a little bit far from the table, and she was very quick and generated a lot of
Yes.
power.
The
But-
left-handed?
Yes.
Yes.
But also in the men's, I think Timo Boll,
Lovely.
you know, like he was able to break the Chinese domination, and I think he's also a very, very humble human being. I had the chance to interact with him when I was in Germany for training.
Oh,
So
lovely. So,
Yeah.
what are the tips that you got from him?
actually, we didn't talk too much about
Yeah.
the thing, but you know, like when I was practicing, he was there before, so he actually helped me set up the table. You know, being world one of the top players in the world, he did not really know me, and still he helped me to set up the table. So I think that's
That's amazing.
really
from-
amazing. Yeah.
Coming from such a big player.
Yeah.
Even players like Warner, we used to watch their highlights.
Yeah.
That are also available on YouTube. What do you think of the skill of Jano Warner? The amazing.
Yeah, he was an amazing, amazing player. You know, the skill that he had, like he would win against many, many top players, and unique technique, and it was not just about the power, but very important placement and the way he used to make the players run around the table. I think it was a great skill that he had.
And there one thing in table tennis, how much is the footwork important? Because non-table tennis players assume that this is a very small court, but the footwork, the running, the athleticism, what goes actually?
Yeah. So it's one of the fastest sports. So you have to be really very, very quick on the table, and it's not just about reaching the ball. I think it's you have to be really well behind the ball, and you know, reach the ball with your legs first. Then only you're able to generate power and speed into that.